Hi, this is Fady from Harpy Productions, and today I'm making a video about the Westone Mach or Mach 80. So I was able to test these recently. They send them over to me to be able to review them and test them. Some of you probably have seen my other video testing my in-ears. I was using the 64 Audio A18S. And I was also comparing it to my Ultimate ears and then my V6 stage, my old set. So in today's video, I want to discuss the Westone, and I want to go through some of the what I love about it, what I didn't or may not liked too much about it, and my personal experience with it. I've had those for a few days now. I was able to test them, play them. I was able to play some songs that I've mixed and mastered myself, so I was really familiar with the frequency range in them. I was also playing some of other songs that I like, and I know I use different headphone preamps to make sure that I'm getting full quality. And here's kind of where what I found. Back in the day, I actually used to own a pair of Westone Audios. Many, maybe like 14, 15 years ago. I don't have them anymore. First thing in the box, as you guys see, it's a really cool box. And then they have, Westones are very famous for these cases, travel cases. They're really nice. Inside the case, what I got is you have a little pouch. And you have some digital card for registration, some decals, and then you have the set of in-ears. So these are not custom in-ears, these are universal in-ears. So here is the two sets of in-ears. And then here's the cable that came along with it. And then it also came with a little bag of different tips. And they have two different kinds of these tips, which I'm going to talk about in just a second. And then a little hook that you can attach to the outside of the bag so you can clip it to your backpack or something like that. Okay, so pretty quick, some like tech specs here for a minute before we dig a little bit in my opinion, so that way you guys get all the features and the options in it. So these are 8 drivers. They're 3-way drivers, and 8 of them you got 2 lows, 2 mids, and 4 highs. And I can definitely tell that. Why? Because the first thing that I noticed when I put these in my ears and I played is that top end was a little bit hyped, or I wouldn't say hyped, but it's more a little bit brighter, on a brighter side, which is actually not a bad thing when you are on a stage and you're trying to find something that a little bit cuts through and punchier and has more excitement to it. Similar to my A18S, they actually have a little bit of a V curve where the top end is a little bit boosted. So that kind of the same idea. Also, these have a sensitivity of 104 decibel, and the frequency response is from 5 hertz all the way down 5 hertz all the way to 22 kHz. I listened to it. I was actually very, very impressed with the quality. Especially I listened to stuff that I've mixed. And a lot of times my experience with in-ears is when you listen to songs on in-ears, especially as a mixing and a mastering engineer, that I know what I'm looking for. And I'm trying to, obviously, always like my preference is more flat. I was actually impressed that a lot of stuff translated pretty well, and it was not hyped, and it was not, I didn't notice any like boosted frequencies that sound weird or anything. The top end was a slightly brighter, but that's about it. On that note, I kept messing with these and using different ones, and you'd be shocked how much difference they made. So first I started with the one that came with it was a little bit smaller size, and when you do smaller size earbuds, they don't seal as tight, so you lose a lot of the low end. So naturally what happened is it made the song sound a little bit too bright because the balance between the bottom end and low end was not super balanced, so you got less lows, which made the highs feel louder, and also I was losing a little bit of the low end. So my first impression was like, oh, I don't like this. I didn't really like how it sounded at all. And then I ended up changing tips until I found a tip that fit really well in my ear, and then it sealed my ear very well. And then the sound was completely different. Why is this important? Because for whatever in-ears that you're using, especially if you're not using custom ears and you're using universals like these, you want to make sure that whatever tip that you're using, keep switching them until you find the right size for your ear. It makes all the difference in the world, because once you seal your ears well, the low end will translate very different, and also some of the high end will translate different as well. Now, once I got it to the right tip, I was actually very impressed with the quality. I would say if I compare it to my 64 Audio, It doesn't have as much as lows as my 64 audio, but my 64 audio has an insane amount of lows. I would also say, shockingly, and this is significantly cheaper than my 64 audio, probably half the price, is that the low end on this one, maybe it wasn't as hyped and as deep, but it was cleaner and tighter. So when I listen to my mix on this, I can actually, it's very well defined. My 64 audio, it feels too boomy. It feels like somebody cranked the low on a speaker EQ or something like that. But the low end on this one was pretty decent. Top end was pretty good. Mid-range stereo image was actually really well done. It doesn't feel as wide as my 64 audio. It feels more natural, if that makes sense. It feels like I'm sitting on more of some flat response speakers and not super hyped or exaggerated speakers. These are 66 ohms at 1K. So that's the impedance for these. Aside from this, basically from my experience, I've had it for several days right now. Highly recommend them. They sounded, to be honest, they sounded better than some custom in-ears that I have used at the same price or more, and these are universals. So I would actually be interested to see the custom version of these, what they sound like, because always my experience was customs are sounding better than universals because they're shaped to your ears. But if I can get that good a quality from these, then I would probably can get much better even from the custom versions of them. For the price range, I think they vary between $1,200 to $1,600 from when I'm making this video right now, depending if they're on sale or not. They're a great set of in-ears. They're obviously on the high end. You get what you pay for. There's very transparent. I wouldn't mind actually using this on the road while I'm having to do some quick edits or quick I wouldn't do final mixing or final mastering on it, but if I need to do some quick edits and stuff like that, do I trust them to do it? Yes, I would, because I listened to it with some of my mixes and I actually liked them. They were pretty good on those. Anyways, here's a quick review of the whole thing. I hope this helped you if this is one of the ears that you are looking into buying. And if you have any questions about them, make sure to put them in the comments below and I'll be happy to answer them. If this video is helpful for you, make sure to subscribe, share it, and I'll see you guys at the next video.